Hi, and welcome to this edition of Let's Stretch on Demand. I'm your host, Eric Lewis, and we're going to get started with a nice, easy groin stretch here, feet about shoulder width apart. And we're just going to start leaning down to one side, bending the knee, keeping good upright posture as we feel a good stretch on the inside of our thigh. And then we're going to rotate over to the other side, move over to the other side. And we're just going to move nice and easy, back and forth, feeling a good stretch on the inside of our groin, inside of our thigh. It's important we're keeping our posture upright. I'm not sloped over to the side, staying nice and upright the whole time here. I'm trying to push this hip into my leading foot there. That's really going to give myself a good stretch right on the inside of the thigh. All right. Now let's bend forward, fold forward, try to touch the floor in between our feet. Feel a good stretch in the back of our legs, our lower back. Hold this for a couple more seconds. And now I'm going to walk my hands out towards my right foot and try to sink all the way down. And at the same time, I'm going to turn up my toe, go onto my heel on my other leg, and really have a nice stretch through the back of my leg here, and also getting some good flexion, stretching in my knee and quads on top. And now let's walk slowly over to the other side, walk our hands over, bend our knee, straighten the other one out with the toe pointing up towards the ceiling. Same thing here, focusing on a good stretch in the back of my leg, while at the same time getting good flexion through my knee in front and the quads there as well. And let's move back to the other side, nice and easy. So on the leg, on the foot that I'm closest to, I'm up on my toe here. If you can, keep your foot flat on the ground. That's really good, but that's also very difficult. So it's okay to bring your heel up, go up onto your toe here as we move from side to side. Just nice and easy, getting in that good stretch. And let's just do that one more time per side. Getting good bend in my knee here while keeping this knee straight, toe pointing up to the ceiling. And last time, move it over, come up onto our toe onto this side, and our heel on this side. And now I'm just going to sit on the floor with my feet in front of me, and I'm going to pull them in towards my hips, sit up nice and tall, and I'm actively pushing my knees down with my elbows. So using my elbows here, I'm actively pushing my knees out and down towards the floor to really intensify the stretch. Again, focusing on the groin, inner thigh. And now I'm going to scoop my hips back, push my feet forward out in front of me, lean forward, try to bring my nose down to my toes. I'm going to feel a really nice stretch in my lower back as well as the outside of my hip. Again, I'm actively pulling myself down towards my feet to help intensify that stretch. and relax. All right, now let's roll onto our backs. Bring our legs up into the air. Try to make a 90-degree angle between our hips and knees. And I'm just going to rotate from side to side, down onto each side, loosening up my core and my trunk and lower back. Do a couple more touches per side. And then relax, feet on the floor. Now I'm going to straighten my left leg out. Bend my right leg up towards me. I'm going to grab my leg just below the knee. And I'm going to pull my knee up towards my chest as high as I can. Really feeling a good stretch here. The back of my leg, my hamstrings, all the way down into my glutes. And while I'm doing this, I want to try to keep this leg flat on the floor. I don't want it bending up like that. If you feel some tightness in your hips, you can definitely bend your legs, but try to keep it flat on the floor while we do this stretch. And relax. Let's grab the other leg. Same thing. Grab your leg just below the knee, and let's pull it up as high as we can, up towards our chest, while keeping this other leg straight and flat against the floor. Hold it for a few more seconds. And relax. Let's change legs again. Back to the first side. And do the same thing. One more time. See if you can pull your leg up a little bit higher this time. See if you can keep your other leg a little straighter. Should be a little more flexible now. Able to take it a little bit higher, a little bit farther into the stretch. And relax. Let's finish up with the other side. Last time here. Pulling our knee up to our chest. Again, trying to keep our other leg straight and flat on the floor. Feeling a good stretch in our glutes and hamstrings. Trying to pull it a little bit higher up this time. And relax. Okay, now we're going to sit on top of our feet. A pose called child's pose. This comes from yoga. So our feet are going to be flat on the floor. We're going to be sitting back on top of them. And we're going to reach our hands out as far as we can in front of us while keeping our butt back. It's okay if you rest your forehead on the mat or on the floor. And just try to walk your fingertips forward. Stretch out your shoulders, upper back. Feel it in your lats as well. And now we're going to stand up into the down dog position. Hips high in the air. Trying to push our heads through our arms. Really stretch out our shoulders, upper back. Straight arms, straight legs. And let's lower our hips down into the up dog position, looking up at the ceiling, stretching out the front of our core. Bring it back up into down dog. This time we're going to really work each leg individually, stretching out the hamstrings, the calf muscle, focusing on one leg at a time, back and forth. And let's bring it back into up dog, hips on the floor, looking up at the ceiling. Bend in our back. And bring it back into child's pose and relax. Those two stretches are pretty intense. We want to give ourselves a little relaxation afterwards. Okay. Now let's take one big step up and come into the half kneeling position. Now we're going to work to stretch our hip flexor and get a little hamstring stretch in while we're here too. So first step is we want to tuck our tail between our legs, get our hips underneath us. And then we're going to push our hips forward and down. Feel a really nice stretch in the front of our hip. Just go as far as you can. And we're going to hold this for about 10 seconds. And relax. We're going to bring our hips back. As we do that, we're going to straighten out our other leg. And we're going to fold forward over the top of it, bend forward over the top of it. You should feel a nice stretch through your hamstrings, the backs of your thighs. You can use your hands on the mat to support yourself. You can grab your own leg, whatever you need to help balance. Try to keep this front knee straight. That's going to help maximize that stretch for you. And let's relax. And we'll go back into that hip flexor stretch. Remember to tuck our tail below ourselves, push our hips forward. This time we're going to add a little extra. On that same side, our knee is down. We're going to take our hand, put it over our head, and we're going to bend away from that side. Really get an extra stretch on that side. Relax. And let's go back into our hamstring stretch on the other leg. Straightening out our knee, bending forward, down over top of it. Hold this for 5 more seconds. And relax. And let's switch sides now. So tuck our other knee back behind us, step forward with the other leg, and tuck our tail between our legs. Good neutral pelvic position. And now let's push our hips forward and down. Feel like good stretch in the front of our hip. And we'll hold this position. And relax. And let's sit our hips back, straighten out our front knee, front leg, and fold over top, bend over top of it to get into a good hamstring stretch. Putting some weight on my leg to help keep my knee straight. so I can really get a good stretch to the hamstring. And let's relax. And we'll go back into hip flexor stretch one more time on this side. Neutral pelvis. Push our hips forward and down. And let's take our arm on the other side and bend away. Really intensify that stretch. And relax. And we're going to sit down on our butt. We're going to bring our leg through in front of us. And we're going to make a 90-degree angle, again, between our hips and our knees, between our thighs and our lower leg. And we're going to bring our chest down on top of that front knee. We're going to get a good stretch in the back of our glute. We're also getting some good internal rotation in our hip as well. A lot of good things happening here. It's going to be a very intense stretch the first time you do it. So we're going to spend a little extra time here. Every exhale you take, I'm going to try to get a little deeper into the stretch. Every breath out, try to go a little farther. Get your chest a little closer to your knee. And relax. And let's switch sides. Swing our hips to the other side. Set ourselves up in a good 90-90 position. And let's bring our chest down to our front knee. Same thing, spend some extra time here. Every exhale, trying to get a little deeper into the stretch. Take you a little farther. And relax. And let's bring it back over to the starting side. Same stretch. Good 90-90 setup. And bring the chest down to the knee. Now this time, let's move our upper body a little bit above our knee. It's going to move the stretch a little higher up in our glute and hip. And now let's move our upper body a little bit lower, down towards our foot. You're going to feel this stretch move a little lower in your glute and also into your hamstring. And let's switch sides and do the same thing on the other side. good 90-90 position. Bring our chest down to the front knee. And now let's bring our upper body above our knee. Move that stretch a little higher in our glutes. And now we'll move down lower towards our foot. Feel the stretch move lower in our glute and also into our hamstrings. And relax. All right, thanks for joining me for this edition of Let's Stretch.